Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. I'm not gonna lie, I was starting to not like doing wrap-ups. Literally only did 2 and I was like, I want to talk about the months that I just finished where the books are like fresh on my mind. I don't want to be talking about January, to be honest. So we're just gonna wrap up all my recent reads. I'm tier ranking them since I'm doing recent reads. These are not all the books I've read. These are just kind of ones I'm memorable. I have others that I'm like, I don't even remember enough to tell you about it. So we're not even gonna go into it. Also, I mentioned this in every video I film, but I'm so sunburnt right now. Okay, let's connect the computer. I don't know how many books are here. They're also an extremely random setup, which is not how I imported them. I did import them, you know, based on month. So this is March, April, and May, I think. Books that stood out the most to me from those months. So we're gonna get into it. So these are my tiers. I have 5 tiers. Basically, each tier is out of 5 stars. The top tier, aka 5 stars, is we did it, guys. We got a 5-star because that has been not common recently. So the exclamation marks is just exclamation marks. Like, this is a good book, you know? A book for 3 stars. I feel like 3 stars is just like, that's why I give them out so often. It's like, it was a book. Better Be Joking is self-explanatory, and then reverse right is like, you need to just take the trash out. What is this? That would be 1 star. So the first one is For Better and Worse, which I think I read first out of all of these, and I'm gonna put that in the exclamation marks. Basically, this is a thriller, kind of like a mystery thriller, I guess. Basically, a mother and father. The book's the POV of the mom and then half is the dad, and it focuses on something that happened to their son. It's pretty horrendous and you kind of have to see how the parents react to this, and I think people will be satisfied by what they do. It was a good book and I still think about it, so it was like very satisfying. Next, I read Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. I think I'm gonna just put it also in the exclamation marks. This is my 3rd favorite out of 3 Karen Slaughter books that I've read, but it was still really good. This is dual timeline. It starts off with a shooting that happens to the main character and her mom and some other people in like a restaurant. Her mother goes off like a professional fighter and like kills the shooter, and she's like, when were you gonna tell me that you were a black belt? So that kind of starts it off like, my mother might be lying about her past, like what's going on with this woman? The dual POV is learning more about the mother's past, and it's quite a wild ride. And at first I didn't like the mom's POV, like what happened to her when she was younger. Like, I didn't care about her younger years, but I got interested. So at this point, can't remember the order, so we're just gonna have to go for it. Let's go for one that was a book, and that book would be Spy Family Volume 1. I give this 3 stars. I thought it was fine. And I'm sorry, Sherilyn. Even Zoe, I feel like you're gonna be screaming at me through the screen. I apologize, but I'm not that sorry. I didn't really like it. I don't know, I thought it was kind of boring, and I liked the characters actually. And for some, like, I've always been interested in spying, and I always wanted to be a spy when I was younger, but like, this was not working. It wasn't for me. And I don't think I'm gonna continue with the rest. Let's go with A Better Be Joking book, which is Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I'm a hater of the Addicted series. I really don't like this series at all, but I had heard so much about it. People go crazy for this series, and I like the Calloway sisters, by the way. So far, I really enjoy that series, but, well, not really enjoy it, but like more than the Addicted, because I hate Lily and Lo. Like, I understand what they're going through with both of their addictions, but I don't like them. Yeah, let's just finish off the Addicted series right now. So I gave Ricochet 2 stars. Is literally, okay, the first book, I believe I gave it like 1.5. It was so bad. This one was slightly better because it introduces Daisy and Reich. Do you understand? Like, that's the only reason it wasn't 1 star. But I didn't like Lily, and that was mostly her book. Like, it was literally her book. I'm gonna go with, I don't actually remember the order of the books. I don't know why Addicted After All is not on here. But anyways, Addicted for now. I liked a little bit more than Ricochet, but not much. And Thrive, which is the last one from the Addicted series on here, I also did not like it. One of my least favorites. We can move on to Calloway Sisters. I read Kiss the Sky. I gave it 3.5 stars, so I'm still gonna put it in a book, but I liked it more than any of the Addicted books because I actually really like Rose and Connor. I think they're better characters. I like them more together. And then Hot House Flower, which is the only book I'm putting in the exclamation marks because I did give this 4 stars because I love Greg and Daisy. How about we talk about a really bad book, which is Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy, which I'm putting in reverse right. If you gave it 3 stars and above, like, tell me why, because I don't understand. It was so bad. Okay, you know After. Everybody knows After. It just felt like After. The guy, he makes a bet. No. Reverse. But basically, why am I struggling? Think of Outer Banks. Now, don't think of it in a good way in this book, because Outer Banks is fun. This was not fun. But like the setting of that, like the kooks versus the pogues or whatever that is. Basically, there's something kind of like that set up. The main guy gets in a fight with one of the richer guys in a bar, and he makes a deal with his friends that he can get with the guy that he got in a fight with. He can get with his girlfriend. And the girlfriend we're speaking of is the main character. It's dual POV, so we know he's up here lying to her. And it just made everything feel like completely, what's the word for it being like, I can't think of the word. I'm struggling. What is the word? Where it doesn't feel like genuine, ingenuine. Is that what I was thinking? I think that's what I was thinking of. It just made everything he would say to her feel completely like, okay, you said that, but I don't believe you because I know that you don't actually like her. So I hated it. Let's talk about my year of rest and relaxation. I gave this book 4.75 stars. Guys, I'm literally just gonna move to 5, okay? So we're putting this all the way at the top with We Did It, guys. I adore this book so much, which it doesn't make any sense because it's like, what even happens? This main character, who does not have a name, by the way, is extremely unlikable, no redeeming qualities whatsoever, but no, but she's actually terrible to her friend. Oh my god, it's actually kind of funny. Basically, this book is about this main character. She just kind of wants to sleep for a year. When I took a pause right there, I was actually thinking of how long she wanted to sleep, but if you just say the title again, My Year of Rest and Relaxation. Anyways, she wants to sleep for a whole year, so she kind of just continues to go to her therapist, try to get some pills to make her sleep for a whole year, and it's kind of funny because her therapist is the worst therapist ever. Okay, next, almost 5-star. Again, I gave this 4.75. I'm giving a 5, okay? We're moving it up. Putting it up at the top is Tender is the Flesh. I really enjoyed this as well. This is about when people start becoming livestock. So people eat people now. So yeah, it was a good book and I think it was well written, and I just was so like disgusted. Not disgusted enough to not read it, but just the perfect amount of disgusted to want to keep reading, you know. I would keep in mind, don't be eating when you read this book. All right, let's go for another bad one. I don't think any of the other ones were bad. I think Good Girl Complex was like the worst book. I didn't give any of the other books 1 star, so that's impressive, okay? That doesn't happen often. Okay, I'm gonna give Hook, Line, and Sinker, Better Be Joking. I don't like Tessa Bailey. I'm so glad that people like her. I'm glad she's getting her money, okay? She can continue getting her money. I won't be paying for her books though. I've read all of her like popular books, you know, like the cartoon covers. I just read My Killer Vacation. That was like the best one of hers, but I gave it 3 stars. And that was the best. So I give this some 2 stars. I didn't like it. I thought neither of them were likable. It was weird because it was pitched as friends to lovers, but it didn't ever feel like they were friends. Like I just feel like they just liked each other the whole time and they were just saying they were friends instead. How she kept talking about music, I was like, I don't care. But I also didn't like the first book either, which I think it was slightly better. Slightly that much better. Wait, we do have another 1 star. I just remembered. Okay. The Darkness Between Stars, which has a really pretty cover. That was very deceptive. I was super bored at school and I heard that this was a poetry collection that was really quick, and I don't read poetry and I'm not gonna continue reading it now. I've read 2 poetry books and I hated them both so much. So, but this was worse. This was so bad. This was a bunch of love poems, whatever you would love poems. Like I don't even know. The author would, you know, have a bunch of love poems and then talk about like politicians or something. Like, what are you even talking about? What does that have to do with anything? I'm not here to talk about politicians. But also the love poems were so cringy and I didn't want to continue. I did continue though because it was very short, but even that short amount of time I literally cannot get back, which is just sad. Next we have, should we zoom through a couple that I don't need to talk about as much? The Naturals, I'm gonna put in a book. This is the same author that wrote the Inheritance Games, and I love what was I about to say? Because I know I wasn't about to say I love the Inheritance games. This was more entertaining because, I don't know, the characters have like a super special abilities. It's not like magic or anything. They just have enhanced brains in one part that would help in investigations. Obviously, the police are not gonna bring in some like 16-year-old girl to help with their investigation because she's smart. But I haven't thought about it since I read it, and it had a love triangle in it that wasn't very good. She needs to stop with those love triangles. It's not working. But it was fine. Like, it was a fun time. I liked it more. Next, Every Last Word. I'm gonna put it in the exclamation parts. This is a book about a girl with obsessive compulsive disorder. I really enjoyed it. It actually does have to do with poetry, slam poetry, which don't want to hear about that, but like, I'm glad that worked for her. I just personally did not like that, but other than that, I enjoyed it. But let me tell you, nothing is scary about this book in the slightest. But something at the end happened when my lights were off in the middle of the night when I was listening to it. It made me jump, and I was so scared. I can't tell you what it is because it's literally the only spoiler of this book, so I'm not gonna tell you, but I jumped. And it wasn't something I think anybody else is gonna consider scary, because I think I just made it scary in my mind. Well, actually, I did update my Goodreads and I was like, I literally just jumped. That was horrifying. And someone else did also say that was scary, so I'm not crazy. But I felt crazy at the time, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna do 2 of this series right now. So Poison Princess and Endless Night. I'm putting them both in the exclamation marks. This is a post-apocalyptic / apocalyptic book. Addicted. It's so fun. I would recommend it to everybody. It was so fun. It felt like 3 books in one though. Like, the beginning was just some like high school girl and her shenanigans. Part 2, she's out like trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic world. Part 3, magic. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting that. Next, Cursed by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I'm actually going to be putting it in Better Be Joking. I will never hate on my best friend Jennifer L. Armentrout for too long, but sometimes she does disappoint me. This was one of those times. This book felt like a prequel to an actual book, because at the end learns about her powers, because this has to do with, because she was cursed, now she has like a gift. At the end of the book, she like learns how to use her powers, like, but what are you going to use them for? Like, are we gonna have like a war or something? Because it was just like, what's gonna happen after this? Nothing happened. The book ended, and here I am. I feel like I'm doing too many bad ones. I gotta get some good ones now. Okay, we have King of Battle and Blood, which I gave 4 stars, but we are gonna be putting this at the top. This felt so much like From Blood and Ash to me that I ate it up. It was like From Blood and Ash without all the unnecessary questions and info dumping, but this also, but like, it has vampires and an arranged marriage, and like, it was, I can't wait for the next book. You don't even know. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And if you're missing From Blood and Ash, I'm talking about book 1 From Blood and Ash and the first part of book 2, but nothing else. You should try this. It's really good. Next we have Terms and Conditions, which I'm gonna say Better Be Joking. I can't get over the end of this book. The third act conflict was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I loved the main character in this, not the guy. Can't remember his name. It's like Declan, I think, but that could be the guy from the first book, so I don't know. They're the same person, by the way. But I thought the main girl, she was not, ew, why am I feel like the main girl was just Iris. She was like a lot more likable than Zara, I think her name was. It was just better. I think I would have put the fine print in reverse right, even though I didn't give it 1 star, but I just hate it. And the fact that people keep liking my review for it, so I'm reminded of my hatred every single day of my life. So it's really festered at this point. Let's do a 3 star, which is Leave the World Behind. I had to give this 3 stars because there's no point to the book, but at the same time, it was kind of enjoyable. Books and Lala, she's the reason I read this, because I really like her weird book recommendations. Not her weird books, but like the books she recommends that are weird, I tend to like enjoy. And this was one of them. And I would say 3 stars is pretty good for this book, just because it made no sense whatsoever. It's like the start of like some sort of world ending thing, but nothing actually happens. So you're kind of just there like, what's going on? Like, are we gonna die or are we okay? This family, they go for a trip and they're at this, like, you know when you rent a house, what is it called? An Airbnb type thing. But the owners, they come back once they hear some destruction going on outside, something like that, and they stay with the renters of the house. So they're all together. They are just waiting for death. Basically, like, literally that's the book. But it was good. I enjoyed it. Another this was 3.5. It's Halfway to the Grave. This is a paranormal romance from like the 2000s. I think it was written in 2006, so those can be very questionable. This was actually good. I liked it. So the main character is half human, half vampire. The reason that she is because her mom was raped by a vampire, so she hates all vampires. Understandable. So she just goes on and kills them. She's a vampire hunter, basically. She tries to kill this one, and she's overpowered, and they kind of form like an alliance, and she has to go help him kill other vampires. So it was fun. It was actually good. It was a pretty good book for this time period. I don't have too much hope, although Vampire Academy was written around that time. Yeah, but other books, you know, they're questionable. Actually, I'm about to talk about one that's like exactly that time period, and I also loved it. This is Dark Fever. I'm putting it in We Did It Guys. I really had a good time with this book. It's about this random human. Her sister went to Ireland, and her sister literally just died, and the maker, she's like, I need to figure out what the heck happened to her in Ireland. So she goes out to Ireland. She kind of gets sucked up in this like thing, and she learns more about the fae and like the demons that live there. And she's trying to figure out who killed her sister. And yeah, it's a fun book. I'm on book 4 now, I think, and I'm really enjoying myself. All right, we have A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. I'm putting it at We Did It Guys as well. I didn't give it 5 stars, but I really liked it, and it's a romance book, and usually the guys are actually extremely forgettable in the books, but I actually liked him better than the main character. So but yeah, I thought it was really fun, and it was so long, and it kept me interested the entire time. The next book is what is this called? Daisy Jones and the Six. It was a book. I almost gave it 2 stars, except I kind of got a little emotional at the end of the book when they started playing the song, but I didn't really have any attachment to these people. I don't remember them. I was just doing my nails and I needed a book, and I listened to this and it was fine, but I didn't like Daisy. So next we have A Shadow in the Ember. I'm putting it in exclamation marks, even though this girl asked too many questions. There was too many info dumps. Jennifer, if you're listening to me, just know this comes from a place of love because I love you. You need to stop info dumping and making these books so much longer than they need to be. This book could have been 5 stars easily if there was not info dumping and if it was not a complete carbon copy of From Blood and Ash. But you know what? If it was as good as From Blood and Ash, even though it was the same book, I would have given it 5 stars. I don't care if you rewrite the same book multiple times and just change the names. I will give it 5 stars, but the info dumping needs to stop. But yes, I liked the 2 main characters so much in this. And then wait for it, by Mariana Zapata, and Luna in the Lie by Mariana Zapata, exclamation marks. Actually, I'm gonna move Luna in the Lie up because I liked it more than Wait For It. I really enjoy these. I read one after the other of these long books, but I enjoy both of them a lot. I think both of them 4 stars. Maybe Luna in the Lie was 4.5, I don't know. Okay, I feel like we should do a love letter to whiskey before we, are done with the video. This one, not just here, but here. Because it was, excuse me, gotta move. This book was the best, top 3 of the year at least. It could be top number 1 of the year. This book is about, a lot happens. Just try and follow real quick. The main character, her name is B. And basically that is the end of any coherent review of this book. I gave it 10 out of 5 stars, basically. It's just right person, wrong time. And not just one wrong time. Many, many wrong times. And it's like infuriating, but at the same time it's really fun to read. Fun. I'm not going to try to explain this. I feel like a lot of it is spoilers too, but if that sounds in any way remotely interesting, I would read it. Also, it could be a summer book because they go to the beach a lot and surf, so yeah, that's the reason why you should read it. Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I'm actually putting in the exclamation marks. This is probably my favorite of hers. I love the anti-hero mentality that they both had, but I prefer Victor to Eli because Eli was crazy. Basically, these 2 guys that are like really close friends, they're in college. I believe Eli is the one that has the idea to try and study EOs, which are extraordinaries, people that have like powers. He's trying to figure out how they do it and how he can do it himself. So he ends up turning himself into an EO, and Victor's like, I gotta go do it now too. So he does it, and now they're both EOs. And Eli sends Victor to prison. No longer friends at that point, because why is he gonna send you to prison? When he gets out, they're enemies. And yeah, it's not even like a normal timeline, and it's not even a flashback timeline. It's like a fractured timeline. Like the timeline is all completely broken up. Like it's a little bit confusing to follow, but at the same time you still know what's going on. You know, oh, this part's behind this but in front of this, like you can figure it out. But yeah, I had a good time. Next is Slay. I'm also putting this up here. Oh my god, my finger's stuck. Okay, this was really good. I loved it. I'm not gonna lie, I did cry. So not much, but I did cry. So this book is the main character on the cover. She's a VR game designer. It's a game literally for Black people, and like you only get that code if you were Black. So it's like a safe space for Black people to just game together, because you know, on the other games people are called slurs and it's like not a safe, comfortable place to play a video game. Like, come on. The game, she's like she's not known as the game designer, like she's known as her character, so people don't know who the real game designer is. And a murder happens. It's just some random person is killed for, I think, some game money. So she's under a lot of scrutiny from the public. Not her specifically, because people don't know who she is, but that's why she doesn't want to tell people who she is, because she could get in legal trouble. Like, that's what she's scared of. And yeah, I would recommend 100%. Okay, and the last book is also going in exclamation marks. No exit. This is a thriller that happens in one night. That's why it was so fast-paced. The atmosphere was snowy. So the main character, I'm gonna try not get it mixed up with the movie, because a couple different things happen in the movie. Yeah, but in the book, the main character is driving to go visit her mom that's in the hospital. It's like a blizzard, so she has to stop at like a truck stop, and there's like 5 people in there, and she is outside in her car. She goes inside the truck stop, she goes back outside to try and get some Wi-Fi connection, I think. She sees a little girl in a cage in the car, and she's like, what? So she needs to go figure out whose cars it is, and it's a wild ride. And I'm not gonna lie, there were some twists in this that I was not expecting. It was a good book. The atmosphere was really nice. It was super fast-paced because it was one night, and yeah, I thought it was really fun. So there is my tier list. I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna rearrange it so that it's in order. All right, so that is my final tier ranking of the past like 3 months. Hope you enjoyed this style. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next video.